Hi, my name's Dr. Tavis Potts. I am the Program Director of the MSc in Environmental Partnerships Management, and I'm a reader in Environmental Geography in the discipline of Geography at the University of Aberdeen. So we're just going to give today a short sample of a key issue that we discuss in the MSc in Environmental Partnerships Management, and this issue is called the green economy. I will be referring to some slides during the talk, which we will see on the screen below. So the green economy is a really important issue. The background to the green economy is the fact that we are facing unprecedented levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This is from hundreds of years of industrial development, the reduction of the Earth's capacity to absorb CO2. And you can see from the chart that will be on the screen that we face a number of options at the moment about how we approach this. We could continue as business as usual and see CO2 rocket into the atmosphere, causing a whole range of economic, environmental, ecological and social impacts, pressures and disturbances. Or we can try and turn around our economy onto what we call a low carbon basis or zero carbon basis. And the time to do that is really about a decade. It's quite an urgent task. This really sets up the framework of a transition from our current economy, our brown economy, to what we call a green economy. We're going to discuss a little bit about that today. It's a common theme for our course. Now, a few years ago, the world decided under the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change in Paris, the Paris Agreement, which we've seen quite a lot about, that we should have a total global cap of 2 degrees C, aspirationally 1.5 degrees. And this involves a radical change in our economies. It involves investing in things such as renewable energy. It involves addressing key problem areas that are polluting carbon, such as transport, agricultural production. In fact, every single element of our way of life we need to reduce and mitigate, and also adapt to our changing climate as we see it across a whole range of areas, from conservation, biodiversity, the way we live, the way we manage our coastal marine areas. So Paris was a really promising agreement, and things have stepped up since that point. And part of the thing we discuss in the MSc is how different sectors, different industries, different governments, and different places around the world deal with this particular challenge. It's part of the heart of the course, what we discuss, the processes and the actions of doing that. Now, we're also in a very positive place where we're seeing, again, this is a good slide to refer to on the screen, that renewable energy, as an example, it's not the only way that we're going to develop the green economy. It's a key part of it. But renewable energy, providing low carbon sources of energy such as solar, there have been massive investments over the past few years in renewable energy around the world. And as you can see from an example, this is in the order of about 56 billion US dollars, both in developed and developing countries, of which a huge significant proportion of this actually comes from China. So we're seeing a real radical change actually in the investment in renewables, but it still is only a small fraction of the energy produced in individual countries, and that's only a small fraction of the total problem around energy. And a good example is in Scotland, for example, where Scotland is going to 100% renewable electricity, low carbon electricity by 2020. I'm not sure whether we'll meet the target or not yet, but we're going to be close. But green energy is only really 10% of our energy issue in Scotland, because we have to heat our homes, and transport sector is heavily reliant on fossil fuels as a key part of that economy. So addressing the clean energy component is critically important, but it's only one part of the bigger problem. Looking at this entirety is what we call the green economy, and across a range of different sectors. So renewable energy investment is growing, but also if you have a look at the slide, it's getting cheaper as well. About 5-6 years ago, it was the cost of wind energy was between about £140 to £150 per unit, and now in 2017, 2018, that has dropped significantly to about £57 to £70 per unit. So we're seeing now it's actually a lot more efficient and effective to mass deploy renewable energy. And now this does have impacts. It have impacts on our seascapes and our landscapes. It could change the interactions with habitats and species. There are visual elements. So all these processes and discussions and the transition from our brown economy to the green economy is a key part of what we discuss in this course. We should also define what we're talking about. What actually is the green economy? And there is a whole range of different definitions about what the green economy is. The original one, if you look at the slide, is from UNEP. Quite a vague and broad definition, but it is the human well-being and social equity and environmental elements are factored in to the economy, into the modern economy. It's low carbon, it's efficient, and it's socially inclusive. But what is interesting now is that we are seeing major political movements coming up around this concept of the green economy, or as often called, a just transition. We see debates in the US at the moment about a Green New Deal and what that actually looks like for workers, for public, for the communities, for industries, but also here in Scotland, which is a fantastic lab for exploring the green economy. We see political developments. A commissioner for a just transition has been appointed by the Scottish Government. We don't really know what that means yet. So part of this course is to figure out, how does this work? How will the economy transition from a brown or a black economy into a green economy? So we look at a lot of case studies from around the world. I just want to talk now, is it working or not? Is the economy, where are we at in the state of play? Well, I think in terms of the green economy and the sustainable development goals, it has to work. We don't really have a plan B. We don't have a planet B. So we have to make this work. There's tremendous economic opportunities for a whole range of industries to go green, to convert, to green their processes, and it's a very exciting time for industry, for business, and for communities about how we actually do this in practice. What are the steps? So it has to work. It really is too early to tell. What's changed recently is this huge political attention now being given to global Green New Deals, global transitions, whether it's Scotland, whether it's in the US, even throughout many countries in Africa, we're seeing governments really take this seriously as a core part of their policy agenda. So how do we actually deliver this in practice? What are the policy instruments? What are the economic strategies? How does it engage with people? Is it democratic, this process? How do we ensure quality jobs? We're seeing rapid expansion of the low carbon sector, the renewable energy sector. It's focused mainly on mitigation, how we reduce our energy use, how we green our energy use. But there are a lot of opportunities and challenges and problems in adaptation. How do we actually adapt to a rapidly changing climate? For example, reducing sea ice, increased erosion at our coasts, change in the migration of different species and impacts on habitats. There are a lot of challenges that are locked into the system. So the green economy is about both mitigation and actually how do we adapt to a changing world. There are other sectors to consider. It's really important that the green in the green economy is not forgotten about. It's about energy. It is also about conservation and biodiversity, how we protect habitats and systems, how we hardwire in conservation into policy and into education. Things such as food, waste, transport, natural resources, housing, construction, conservation. These are all key elements of the green economy, and something that we explore all these different sectors and processes during the MSc and with our research. We have a long way to go is my kind of concluding point. It's very positive, we're seeing signs of change, but one of the key issues that we face, whether in Scotland or the US or in developing countries, Asia and Africa, around the world, is how do we provide secure, long-term, decent jobs as we transition out of things such as oil and gas, and to make the case to transition into other green industries. There have to be safe, secure and decent jobs. This is a key part of these green deals that are emerging around the world and having these political and economic and social debates around it. So the green economy is a very, very exciting topic. Here at Aberdeen, both through the MSc in Environmental Partnerships Management and our recently established Green Economy Research Centre, we are seeing an increased focus on this area, and it places this university and our teaching at the core of this very exciting new field. So we look forward to seeing you here. Thank you very much.